There you go.
Rocking them Ducos.
Thank you. I finally
And
know
yes,
what those are.
that is the brand of his sunglasses. You can see, man, they're made pretty well. Check them out, man. Fucking.
Oh yeah, I look fucking great in this.
Yeah.
Anybody does.
You got a Jam Michael Vincent story, R.I.P.
Oh man.
There we go, bro.
Too soon.
So you can see we had the fucking fellas listener appreciation party last night. It's fucking pretty cool, but Weller has a sick day today. So I went through all the list of all you people. Like I was telling Matt, I got a list of people that want to do the show, but every time I call them to do the show, and I tell them, hey, I only got like an hour to find somebody to do a show, right? And it never fails. All of them, oh, I'm tired. I can't do this or that. Well, Matt just lives down the street, so I was like, dude, can you come do a show?
Yeah, like 3 hours later, he calls me and he's like, look, you're at the bottom of the list. Can you fucking come do the show?
No. I had a couple of them, but he's been on the show before, and we had a good time, man, and people saying good stuff like, man, you guys did pretty good. So
am I the second repeater?
Tito's done it a couple times.
Okay.
And Garcia's done it a couple times.
Well,
but yes,
no.
It's like
no. That's basically his way of saying no.
No, yeah, but it's like SNL, dude. Like, right? You have your co-hosts that have been on there, like Justin Timberlake 6 times,
right?
Alec Baldwin 6 times, or
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy. Yeah, I mean, dude, because Justin Timberlake's one of my favorites, dude. When I know he's gonna be on SNL, dude, I'm fucking turned up.
I just want you to know I was excited when you called me, and I was like, hell yeah, brother, I'll be right there.
And I appreciate it, man. I do.
It was exciting the first time, so the second time I feel a lot better about it.
You know what you're expecting, how to get the shit going, man.
That's right. And whose name I'm not supposed to drop.
Or what you're don't want to say so your old lady gets mad, you know.
That's right.
But we've already been talking and bullshitting for fucking 2 hours, dude, before we got the show together, so.
Yeah, so all of you that we talked about earlier are protected.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to roll off the what's ups. First off, we got this guy last night, Francisco, a.k.a. Papa Frisco. He gave me this Defiant brand, what are they called? LED lighting.
Look at those.
And you see they're remote controlled. You can change the colors.
Based on your mood.
Yeah, they're pretty badass. There's a whole group of them. And then what you can do is like stick them under the table or underneath lighting for in your
around your bathtub
or your bathtub, your bedroom, around the bed, whatever. I mean, you just go through it and you can set them on timers. And I don't know if that's showing up, dude. There we go. But they're pretty cool, man. I appreciate it. Free's always awesome.
Free is always awesome.
And I'm going to play with them. I'm going to figure out something to do. Maybe toolbox would be cool, too. There's just anywhere you need a pop-up light, man. You just fucking put it up under
Bingo.
There. Yeah.
That's a great invention.
So,
I remember an invention. We didn't even talk about this, but you told me an invention you had.
I've had a couple, yeah.
You lived in Oak Grove. It was back in the early days.
Oh, the fucking phone deal?
The phone. Oh, my God. You knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me one day we'll be able to use our phone as a remote control. We use it for everything.
Yeah, for your well, you remember because everybody used to have a house line phone, right?
Right.
Well, I was talking to my dad on my phone, and I had my remote control in my hand because he's like, put it on channel 10
and
or
you
whatever.
Can't ever find the fucking remote.
But you can always find your phone, and a phone had a locator on it.
So and a ringer.
Yeah. But so I had a switch on this phone that would just go from phone to remote. And then your phone became the remote for the TV.
Dude, I do that right now with my TV. I lost the remote. It only comes. The only way you can turn on the TV is with this little remote they give you.
Yep.
But there's this thing called Smart Things, which makes you sound smart. But really, it's an app you download, and all of a sudden, your phone works as a remote for the
your TV. Yeah.
And when we lost the remote, when I moved, I was like sitting there going, I can't even fucking watch TV. Yeah. Guess what? I was like, oh my God, I went back to that app that I downloaded when I first bought. Guess who's in control of the TV?
There you go, dude. And it's really cool if you want to fuck with your kids. They're watching something, right? And then you can change it. You change it to the remote, and they're like, what the fuck's going on?
Did you share? No, I did not tell them. Oh, you could all get an app for the TV on your phone because they would be doing it to me every night. And right now it's like, no. They don't even know about that. So
It's need to know basis. But okay, let's carry the what's ups, man. So I want to thank everybody that came to the party, and especially those people that helped contribute with cash, time, effort.
Booze.
Yeah, the booze. Got a bunch of bottles of booze and stuff. But thank you, DJ Net. She did a good job DJing last night. Thanks, DG, Weller, Kurt, Dan, Matt, Marco, Aaron. What's up to Liebig, Gypsy, Nate, Sarah, Irma, Ann and Anthony, Sam Chavez, to my cousin, Floodlit One, and Linda, to all my kids that showed up, my brother Jason and his wife Jody, to the Martinezes, Mark and Christy, and to my man Don. And then we got a special shout out this week goes out to Crabber, a fisherman of all games and sizes. He's an ag extraordinaire, county award-winning chicken champion. He's a local artist, a school teacher, a father, a husband, and he's one of mine and Matt's friends. And we're talking about Casey Tosta.
Woo! Wrong button.
Yeah, you only want to hit the square or the circle, bro.
Let me just say one thing.
Yeah.
I don't care what that thing made it sound. One of the best friends any guy could have out there. And he's out there fishing. I see him. He's putting his kids through county fair with chickens. A story I wanted to share about him is he shared with me that he used to get up at 4 a.m. because he was raising like 30 chickens, which you're only allowed to
in the city.
In the city.
Yeah.
Sacramento. You're only allowed to like have 6. And he had like 30 of them because you have to pick the best ones for county fair. He would get up at 4 a.m, empty all the cages, and fertilize all the yards in his street before anybody got up. And everybody was like pissed because they had to mow their yards all the time because the grass is just growing. They're like, what the hell's going on? Our yard's green, it's growing.
In the middle of fucking drought
In the middle of winter, all the way to March.
That's badass, dude. Well, what's up, Casey?
Right on, brother.
All right, man. So we got a few topics today, but let's start out with the hypnosis shit, man, because we were talking about that, right?
Oh, man, yeah.
Because I had some missing time that's happened to me once that I really have like witnesses and all that kind of, for the story and story shake. But I was telling you, I don't know if it's a good idea to do the hypnosis because then there's some things you want to know that you can't unknow once you know them,
Right. There's lots of things that maybe you want to know about.
Yeah.
But then you think about it, you're like, yeah, I didn't really want to know about that.
Like, there's a reason your body decided to fucking black this memory out or something.
That's correct.
Right?
Car accident.
Car accident's good. Maybe child molesting or getting raped or, something like that.
Yes, something tragic that you want to block out. And after so many years, you've blocked it out eventually to where you don't even remember it correctly.
Yeah.
But that's because you trained your brain not to even remember that. And that's a coping skill that we all learn, right?
Dude,
we all learn
self-preservation,
skill.
Self-preservation, dude. But you were saying you have been hypnotized before.
I've been hypnotized twice. And yes, it was at the state fair, but it's still legit.
Was it doctor or was it just sideshow guy or?
I think it was a doctor sideshow guy, both. I think he was a doctor that probably got kicked out of doctrine because whatever, probably something not legit. And became a state fair hypnosis guy. But the hypnosis part was real, and he actually taught you a lot about it. The first time I did it, it was like, I think I was 16, so it was like I was just that kid that didn't even give a shit. You went up on stage, you got hypnosed, and you went through the drills, and I knew I was being hypnosed, but I didn't really have that much control. And they tell you, once you've been hypnosed, you can be hypnosed multiple times. Like, it's easier for you to be hypnotized because you know how the process goes, which is total relaxation to the point where you're vulnerable. You relax every muscle in your body to the point where your mind is actually vulnerable to being or having input basically from somebody else that has control of you. Now, if there was something he put in me that was malicious or something, yeah, I could probably fight that off, I think, but nothing was ever that way.
Because you're willing in this process of getting hypnotized. You're willing, or you have a perceived outcome of what's going to happen once you're hypnotized.
That's correct. That is a great word, willing. Yeah. Because I was trusted that I was in a comforted zone with other people there, right? I knew he wasn't going to do something stupid. So the first time I got hypnotized, and the second time I got hypnotized, I knew about it already. So I was like, oh yeah, he's going to hypnotize. We're going to go through this.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, you're thinking, okay, I've been hypnotized before. Is he going to be able to do this again?
Correct.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, it was the same dude, because it was only like 2 years later in the state fair. So they don't recycle people that much. Here it comes. Oh, he's flexing on us. But yes, you get hypnotized and you're like, okay, this is coming. I realize what's coming on, and I'm going to be vulnerable, or I'm going to,
Yeah, you're going to play along with it.
I'm going to go along with it. But then you realize you're not just going along with things. Like, they're putting things in you, or like gestures that you're acting out on because it's fun and it's okay, but also because somebody's put that in you and you've been so relaxed. It's like, and the first thing he told me, and I remember because I listened the second time, because that's the first time I was really intrigued with it.
Yeah.
And he told me, it's like, look, being hypnotized is like double the amount of sleep you get. So if you sleep for 8 hours, being hypnotized for 1 hour is like sleeping a 2-hour nap, like, because you're so relaxed. And I thought, this guy's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But afterwards, I realized, I was like, oh my God, when I wasn't tired, when I wasn't all these things. And then he also went further and talked about self-hypnosis. And I thought, okay, this guy isn't just one of these state fair guys. He's an educator. He's not just a creep. Because if you relax yourself to the point where you could self-hypnosis, which is working through all the different things that they go through during hypnosis.
Shutting down your brain, shutting down your jaw, shutting down your neck, shutting down everything.
Everything. There's so much tension in your face, and there's so many muscles in this, let alone your hands, your feet, all the little parts. There's so many muscles in there that you don't relax when you go to bed. And so when you dream, you're intense. You don't get that good of sleep. But when you completely relax, you let all that go and you really relax and think about all those muscles just being nothing. You really relax.
It's like when you go to bed hammered, dude. Like when you're super hammered, right?
Yeah, and you just don't give a fuck. You're just done.
You can fall asleep in a chair, you know what I mean? I get it.
I can fall asleep standing up.
Fuck yeah, I get it, man. But I think it's fucking cool, man. And I think I want to try it, but I'm going to do it with somebody that I trust with me there, you know what I mean?
Well, the last thing I had to say is I knew the second time when he hypnotized me, I knew I was hypnotized. And I was going through it, and I was like, are you really hypnotized? Like, or is this a real thing, or are you just going through the motions?
Are you playing along with it? That's what I've always thought. Are you just really playing along with it, or are you hypnotized?
Right. Like, was I the best actor on stage? Because he pulled, like, 10 other people out, and he's like, you're done, you're done, you're done. Because they weren't really hypnotized.
Yeah.
And he knew it. For some reason, I was not one of those people. And then I was like, okay, I'm going through it, and I was like, man, I'm really kind of feeling this, but I'm not. And the last thing he told us before we left was, hey, when I say the name Fido, I want you to stand up in the crowd and bark like a dog. And I knew this. And he sent us, he's like, okay, all you've been great. This is the end of the show, whatever, we're done. Shakes all our hands, snapped us out of whatever we were in, sent us back to the crowd. We're sitting there. And I even told, I think it was my sister, my mom, it's like, yeah, he even told us to bark like Fido. When he says the word Fido, he wants us to bark like a dog. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there telling the story, and he says the word Fido, and I heard his voice out of nowhere. And I stood up and barked like freaking Fido with like 5 other people in the freaking crowd. And I was like, no. I knew he told me to say that, but I still did it.
It was his cadence or the sound in his voice that triggered that fucking subconscious shit, dude.
Dude. And at that point, I was like, oh, this shit's real for some people. Like, you could really, like, it is real. Hypnosis is real.
Dude, I'd like to check it out, man. And it obviously works. People quit smoking and doing shit like that under hypnosis, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the big thing. Like, you can quit anything if they program that into you.
Yeah. That sounds fucking cool. Well, close out hypnosis, man. That's cool.
I'm going to try.
No. It's either the square or the circle. There you go. Yeah. All right. So what's up? You want to do? What's up with a bullet magnet?
Bullet magnet.
Yeah, you said this word to me and I didn't know what it was, but now that we've talked about it and stuff, I think it's something everybody should understand. And if you're not carrying a gun yourself, what you can do to help other people is be that distraction and
be a bullet magnet.
Yeah.
So this is brought up to me because I have friends and family that have conceal and carry. I mean, and a lot of them do.
Yeah.
So I do not. But somebody needs to be the bullet magnet, which was put to me by a trained professional, let's just say.
Yeah.
And there needs to be that person that's the distraction. In order for those people that are armed, in order to put one, like was told to me, right in his ear.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm the one, since I'm unarmed, because everybody else in the room, and you have crossfire, right, has a concealed carry. There needs to be somebody that doesn't have a gun, because what am I going to do besides be useless? I'm going to be the bullet magnet. And that's your job as a man or whoever you are, a woman, protecting your family, whoever you are, you're that adult that is taking that bullet. And you need to be the bullet magnet, which is a horrible thing that it sounds like.
Yeah.
But it is quite heroic. And if that's how I went out, that's fine.
Well, basically, you don't even have to assume you're going to get shot, but what you want to do is you got the hostage or you got the robber or whoever the bad guy is with the gun. You take his attention off of everything else by saying, "Hey, man, hey, like,
look, hey, don't shoot me.
Don't shoot me. Look at, I have fucking scoliosis
right.
or what, So while the guy with the gun turns and looks at you, that's when somebody else.
My buddy's in the corner.
Yeah.
Dialing up on him and puts one right in his ear, and we all go away safe.
That's right, man. That's awesome. And I think that should be out there, dude. I mean, that's the first time I've heard of it. And I think that is a good public service announcement, dude. Like, fucking, especially like you said, you got a buddy that's carrying and say, okay, I'm not carrying, so I'm going to be the bullet magnet if shit goes down. Just so you have that together anytime you're riding, you got a plan already.
Correct. There's guys that I work with that I know have their CC, right? They're conceal and carry. And I told them, I said, I don't have mine. I'm the bullet magnet. And even them said, bullet magnet? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be the distraction. So you better shoot that motherfucker while I'm up there going, hey, don't shoot, getting his attention. You better be drawn on that son of a bitch and putting one in his ear. Because that's what I'm risking. But that's what we need in order to conquer this bullshit, right? These guys going through.
It takes just a little short conversation like we're having now. And then the understanding that, hey, I'm willing to do a sacrifice. If I do get shot, you better fucking shoot that.
That's right. And you know what your buddies are carrying usually. Yeah. You know which one has a gun. You know where he is in the room.
Yeah.
That guy doesn't know where all that's happening. And that's our defense. And that's the best you could do against something like that. And yeah, I may die, but guess what? I'm going to save how many people because I was a bullet magnet. Because when he's shooting me, I guarantee there's 3 or 4 other guys out there that I rolled up with or were part of the party or that are there that I don't even know about.
Yeah.
That are drawn on this guy, that are waiting.
They're waiting for it. Like, I have a habit now of when I go to eat anywhere, I try to get a seat where I can see if there's two doors,
My back's always against the wall.
Yeah.
Looking at the door.
I want to make sure I got a good line of sight of, like, what's going to happen. And it's just in the back of my mind now, dude, because I don't want to be fucking shot in the back of the head or something.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Right?
That's what I tell my girlfriend, and that's why I always face looking at the door. And I told her, this is for your safety. Yeah. This is so I can see, because guess what? I'm going to give my life for whoever, but I need to be in the position to do it successfully. I'm not going to be that guy that's going to get shot in the back of the head or the back.
Yeah.
Because why? There's plenty of other people that could do that aren't willing to give up or do whatever, and that's okay. But when it comes down to kids, grandkids, everything, family, you know as I do, you'll jump from a bullet any day. We already lived our lives.
Yeah, I'm already there. I'm grandpa, dude. I'm papa now. Let's see. How about cop stories, man?
Oh, man.
Yeah? You want to roll?
Go ahead.
All right, let me think. So I was rolling with Bert, and we're at the new roundabout. Skull has those 2 roundabouts over there off Twin Cities. And I'm going through the roundabout. I got the wheel on my knee, right? And I got the old seatbelt out, and I'm fucking
air guitar.
Yeah, air guitaring with my seatbelt and shit. And I seen the cop, man. He was like, I don't know, fucking 70, 80 yards away. And he seen me fucking around like that, and he pulled me over, and he said I was talking on the cell phone. And I told him right when he said it, I was like, dude, you got the wrong guy because I don't have a cell phone. He's, oh, yeah, you do. I seen you. I was like, no, you didn't because I don't have a cell phone, bro. Check the car. I don't have a cell phone. Burke had a cell phone, but that's his cell phone. I wasn't using his cell phone.
Right.
And then he checked last time he called and all that shit. Yeah, and I was like, see, I don't got one. He's all, well, I don't know where you hit it in the car, but here's your ticket. And I said, oh, that's fine, man. I'll see you in court. So when I went to court, I took Burke with me. Fucking went
as
to
a witness?
Court. Yeah. Went talked to the judge. I told my story to the judge. What went down? The cop told him his side, and the judge said, well, I have to go with the cop on this one, And I said, why? He's a liar. He's lying right now, And the cop said, what did you say? I said, you're a liar. He said, say it again. I said, you're a liar, man.
Yeah, it's easy when you're telling the truth.
Yeah. And the judge is like, he's totally looking at me like, you can't do this. You can't say this to this officer.
Yes, I can.
And I was like, he is lying, though. I don't have a cell phone. I have one for work, but that's in my work truck. It's not in my personal vehicle, And so, being proper, I took my hat off and I had laid it down on, when you go into the court and shit.
Respect, yes.
Yeah, so they closed the case. Judge went from $300. My ticket was like $150.
Oh yeah, he reduced it.
Yeah,
to
make me feel good.
Right.
So I get outside the courtroom. The cop comes up and gets in my face, in my breathing space, man. Like, he's like, "Oh, why don't you go ahead and say that I'm a liar again?" I said, "You're a liar." And he said, "Say it one more time." I said, "Dude, you're a liar." And then he got even closer. And I said, "Look, man, I can already tell you probably had some coffee and some dicks for breakfast because you're breathing into my face,
Right. And he's got cock breath.
Yeah, cock breath, obviously, dude. And I was like, dude, I didn't have a phone. He says, call me a liar again. I said, you're a liar.
Good.
Again for like the 6th or 7th time, dude. And he was just trying to get me to fucking...
Right, because he knew there was cameras around.
Yeah, and here's the thing. So I didn't have my hat on. I did like this, and I said, oh, I got to go get my hat. So I started to walk away to get my hat. And he's all, that's it, fucking walk away, this and that. So I got my hat. I came back out, and I said, dude... You think I'm going to fight you, a cop, in a courthouse with all these people around?
After my case?
Yeah, who's going to jail? Me or you? Who's going to jail? Dude, I'm not going to jail over you trying to be a fucking Buster Badass because you have a badge. Because I have cop friends, dude, and you know what they are? They're just people with a fucking badge.
Right.
But when they got the badge, they just feel like fucking...
They have armor on.
Yeah.
I mean, they're armored up. They feel like they're indestructible. And... The one thing is, and you and I both talk, there's 1,000 great cops for every 10 bad cops that are out there.
True,
I
man.
mean, we could agree on that.
Yeah.
So we're not bad-mouthing that. We're just speaking about the experience that sticks with us that is bad.
Well, we're doing the bad stories because there are good stories where the cops help you, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I had one where the same thing kind of happened, where I got pulled over and... I was racing a guy in Lodi, and believe it or not, as soon as you cross over Dry Creek, burning out becomes a felony.
What?
in San Joaquin County, whereas in Sacramento County, with Judge Hinkey, that it gave me my first 2 for racing.
Yeah.
It's a misdemeanor, but it's still 2 points against your record or whatever, and you fight it per whatever it is. But you go across Dry Creek, guess what? That's a felony. And so I got pulled over for speeding and racing. It was expeditious speed, and I was racing, and yes, I won, but the dude burned out the second time and left, like pissed, and made a right-hand turn after we raced, stoplight, and I was still sitting there, and I drove off normal. Well, I didn't realize 3 cars behind us was a cop who pulled me over because he wasn't going to catch that guy. So he pulled me over, and I was in there with my buddy, and we were sitting there, and yes, there was all sorts of shit in the car, let's just say.
You had some Lucky Charms in
Lucky Charms. Yeah. And he pulls me over. He's like, read me the riot act, this and that. And, of course, I do the whole thing where I pick my nose before I grab his pen and sign it, and then I hand him back the pen with a smile because, bottom line, you're getting that ticket anyway, so you might as well just make it. Because I had a cold, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to bring this guy some misery on Christmas. So he gives me the damn ticket, and I'm ready to go off and drive. Well, my left turn signal was out. So I'm trying to like merge back into traffic, but he's got this goddamn spotlight like blinding me.
Fuck yeah, it is.
And of course, I had the 2 Kicker 15s in the back because that was the day. And I couldn't see out the back window. So I'm like checking this little Camaro side mirror, and I couldn't see because the spotlight was in it. So I get out of the car and go back to the cop and was like, hey, can you like move the spotlight or turn it down to where I can see to merge back in? And he gets out of the car and totally like jumps my shit. Then he grabs me and shoves me, and he says, you get in your fucking car and leave now. And at that point, when he shoved me, like any young man, I mean, I think I was 19 maybe, but I was like, I squared up, was like, are we fighting? Like,
yeah, it's
what
fight
are
or
you doing?
flight. Yeah, fight or flight, dude.
And I'm like, you're a cop. What are you doing? Like, you've got all the power in the world. Why are you challenging me, this guy that has done nothing but cooperated with you? And anyways, he shoved me, and he's like, you get in that car and leave. So that's fine. I waited, and I saw the light turn green. And I saw somebody start to go from the stoplight because we're just past it.
Yeah.
Boom. I sped right out. I was in a Camaro Z20M, no problem. Boom. Jumped into traffic. He jumps in, and he follows me. And he followed me for like 2 miles. I followed all the way through Lodi, and since my left blinker was out, I could only make right-hand turns.
You're only turning right, dude. NASCAR, dude.
I could only make right-hand turns, and I made it all the way to Taco Bell off Lodi Avenue, and I pulled in there. I'm like, this fucker is going to follow me in here, then more power to him, you know? And he drove right on by, and I knew, okay. We parked there for about 10 minutes, walked inside, got something, whatever it was, 90% or 99-cent burrito.
Yeah.
Gone. And we were out of there, back to G-Town, right? Because it's like Lodi didn't want any part of me.
Fuck. You know, that's the thing. When you got a car that stands out, too, like when I have my gold Cadillac, man, it's like carnival gold, like sparkly and shit.
Yeah.
It's an eyesore for police, and they know you. Or you got a personalized plate on your car.
They know you.
They fucking know who it is, yeah. And that kind of sucks. Put yourself out there. But if you're not doing anything bad, I don't, you know.
Correct. You can run with it. And so I ended up seeing this guy at court because I had to go to court for this because I challenged it because it was a fucking felony. Dude, I got a thing in the mail that says either you're going to spend 17 days in jail or pay $1,700. And I'm like, looking at this going, all I did is fucking burn out. You're going to put me in jail with criminals? Yeah, they are. So I went to court, and I didn't share this with you. So when I go to court, the judge is like, and this is in Lodi, and my family like helped start the town of Lodi.
Yeah.
So he goes, oh, do you know Frank Sigelkoff? I said, yes, sir. That's my great-great-grandfather. He said, oh, he'd be deeply disappointed in you right now. And at that point, I felt about that big. And I was like, oh, this is not going to go the way I wanted it to. And so he's like, well, you're sentenced to 17 days of jail or $1,700, which isn't. And so at that point, it's like, I'm not going to jail today, so I'm not guilty.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, well, public defender? Yeah, because I'm an 18-year-old kid that doesn't have any money.
Yeah.
Public defender, boom. So I ended up meeting with his public defender, and I fought this thing with him, and I told him the whole thing, and he was like, he shoved you? And I'm like, yeah. And this is when that shit was starting to, get a little bit... Escalate, more video and different stuff was out there at that point. So it ended up coming down to where I got off on 1 year probation, but after that court day, when we walked out, I remember he walked out first, and I let him go, right? And I'm like, I don't want any business with this guy, CHP. Right?
Yeah.
He walked out, and he was waiting for me outside the fucking court doors. And he said, if I ever come across you again, I'm going to, give it to you.
Yeah, fucking light you up, boy.
And I'm like, are you serious? I looked at him, and I said, you're a bad cop. And he looked at me, and he was like, he didn't know what to say to that. And I said, you're a fucking bad cop, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, I did nothing wrong. And he sat back and looked at it, and hopefully that meant something to him and maybe changed it for somebody else. But I could tell you, I was on 1 year probation, and I'm getting a speeding ticket in Woodland in a work truck when I really wasn't guilty for it. It was another Ford Ranger that sped by, and this guy was just here, like on a side street. And since I was going slow, he caught up to me first and pulled me over. And I was like, dude, it wasn't me. It was that other guy in a brown Ranger. And I was in a blue one.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got a ticket. And I was completely innocent. And I went to court and I pled guilty. And I was like, look, I'll pay it off, whatever. I I was conforming with society at that point. And so I was like, yeah, I'll pay it a whole thing in 30 days. Just give me 30 days. Because it was around Christmas, and I was like 19, just trying to,
fucking make ends meet, yeah.
And I'm trying to buy parents presents still and all that kind of shit. So it's like, he gave me the ticket. I go to court 31 days later because it wasn't 30 days. So I was a day late. And I go up there to the office in Woodland, and I'm like, hi, so I'm here to pay off my fine and this and that. And the lady's like, oh, okay, what's your name? I give it to her. She goes back and looks, and everything was done by fucking paper back then, not computer. She's looking for shit. She's like, no, I don't find it. And I'm like, well, I was supposed to pay it off today. It was 30 days. I got up. She's like, she looks in the warrant fucking pages. My name was out there to go out in a bench warrant because I didn't pay my fucking fine. She pulls it out. She's like, oh, here, they sent out a warrant. You were 31 days instead of 30 because it was a dumb kid thinking, okay, well, a month from now is this.
Yeah.
But guess what? It was only a 29-day month instead of a fucking, 31-day month. So I was off by 1 day. She took the warrant, ripped it up, and this and that. So when I had to go back to court for probation for that other bullshit, I thought, oh, I'm fucking cooked. Because I did get
something in
a traffic violation, which was going to bring up this other case. And so my public attorney asked me, oh, you got anything? Because I went 2 days before and pulled up my record and was like, I'm going to need a printout of what what I have. So what I knew what I was going into. There was nothing on there. So I go in there. Guess what? It never showed up. That lady took that bench warrant, ripped it up, took my money, paid the fine. Nothing to the insurance, nothing. It all just disappeared. And that was
karma, dude.
Merry Christmas to me. And I was nice to her. And it was probably a bad day. And I know she has to deal with nothing but garbage. People that are pissed paying fines.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And that's how it ended, dude. And I got out of both of those because of that. And that guy was an asshole cop. And I was an asshole kid. And we both survived.
Fuck yeah. We'll close out cops, dude. Let's fucking bust something here, man. Fucking, Okay, so how about boys versus men?
Oh, man.
And then we'll go on girls versus women.
So, what makes a boy over a man? I mean, there's a lot. It's responsibility.
Well, what I'm talking about is like a 45-year-old boy.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
We're out there.
Or you have like a 22-year-old man.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? It works both ways, dude. Like
I've seen 16-year-old men.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, dude. Like you talk about the greatest generation, right? Like my grandpa served in fucking World War II. And he enlisted when he was 17, fucking went in early, all that kind of shit, dude. And he's fighting wars on foreign lands. It's a fucking 18-year-old kid,
Watching people die as friends, family.
Fucking getting shot, death happening right next to him, that kind of shit, dude. And
carnage.
Becomes a man really fucking, because of circumstance and shit, becomes a man real quickly, dude.
Yeah, before he should.
And then on the other hand, you have these guys that are fucking 35, 40 years old, never left the house, still living at, mom and dad's house, fucking doing whatever they do, play video games all day. Or
trust fund kids, you name it.
Trust fund kids is another one, dude, because, and they're totally, they don't got to worry about money and shit because they're fucking hooked up, right? So where's that drive or where is that thing that they need to become a man? Because everything's handed to them,
Well, you get both personalities, and hopefully that there was enough instilled in parency prior that they have those skills or that respect for value prior to inheriting that or taking that on. But we know that the people that appreciate it most have earned that and started with nothing and had to scratch and grind their way through everything to get what they got, to get where they are. Those two people are still great people, but the one that came up from nothing obviously respects that a lot more, right? He values that. And so now he's this elevated person, and he's going to try and instill that in his children which he will never be able to instill what it takes to get there until they're there, right? Like, you don't become a man, you don't become a woman until it's put upon you to survive. Like, we're all single. It's great. I can take care of myself. I know I can get a meal. I can go to my friend's house. I can get a bed somewhere. I can get whatever. But you don't want to bring a child into the world and then try to drag them through that. So now, all of a sudden, you're in a different level where you realize, I have to have a steady home. I have to steady, what creates that? Steady income. Steady whatever. You know, you have to go be that person of responsibility and reliability for somebody else.
Well, you know, Weller said this a couple times. I agree with it totally. There's a difference between a king and a prince, right? And what happens with the king, if you're gifted the throne, right? You were a prince. You weren't a king to begin with. But in some of these movies, like, or deal like Vikings, right? Where Ragnar's fucking farmer ends up becoming a warrior, then ends up becoming a Viking king, right? He battled his whole life to get up and get ahead and become the king. So that when he has kids, his kids are never going to have those battles or have to do that same kind of shit that he had to do to get there.
Nowadays.
Yeah, because they're gifted the throne. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Welcome to Britain.
Yeah, so basically you can raise kings.
United Kingdom.
You can raise kings or you can raise princes, man. And I think that's part of the difference between a boy and a man, dude, is you can see it like camping, right? You go camping, you got buddies that just want to get up there, sit down, and just start drinking beers and shit, right?
Right.
So you got other buddies that fucking, hey, let's set up the tents. Let's fucking make sure what we're going to do.
Let's make a compound.
Yeah, let's gonna make sure we got firewood. We're going to make sure what we're going to do for dinner. And then they get all their shit done, and then they're like, let's fucking pop some beers, right? So you can see the difference in people that way, man. But that's what I've been running into, man, is this younger generation of kids. I see very few men, even though they're in their 25, 30 years old, you know what I mean? I don't see too many men, man. And I think the man deal is starting to be looked at as a negative, like masculinity is being negative.
Well, because there's so much taken away because they don't want... trying to be fragile here. Women want more rights. With that becomes more responsibility and liability and all those things. And they're taking on that, which is fine, and that's great. And some women want to take on it more, and some women don't. Some want to be more traditional, or whatever you want to call it. Men are the same way. You know, they hand over some, and they're like, okay, you want me to do it. It's just a happy medium within that couple. They find that, hey, I enjoy doing this and I enjoy doing this. And then you divide up the chores that nobody wants to do.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where you get that. But there is definitely more and more where men are stepping away or releasing that responsibility or that duty to a woman because maybe she either does it better or she wants to do it. And that was something that was not allowed, right? That was just a stigma that was there originally. Like, oh, you're a man, you need to do this.
You're a man, you take out the garbage, you mow the lawns, you fucking fix the car. That's man shit, right?
Okay, but that's because men are not detailed cleaners. Like, I don't care. Like, well, yeah, I'm going to do some man bashing right now, okay? We are not that person. Like, I go and I'll clean the kitchen, and it'll look good to me. A woman will come in, or my girlfriend, and she'll be like, well, what'd you do today? And I'm like, well, I cleaned the kitchen.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I will go to the bedroom, watch a ball game or something. I come back out and be like, oh, the kitchen's clean.
After she cleaned it after
because she cleaned it after me. I just knocked down all the hard edges, and that's really how life is. Man is like a rock grinding. We knock down all the hard edges, but really, if you want some detail cleaning done, it needs to be done. And I don't want to be sexist or make it sound that way. It's just a quality they have. Yeah. They are better cleaners than us. They see things. They're like...
It's like you chop up jobs. I have a neighbor down here. She mows her lawn. She does the outside work. And
sure.
they switch off. They do all that shit, man. And I'm sure he does cleaning or do it. You know, and then that's another thing. When you're single, it's all that shit's on you.
It is. It's all on you.
Yeah, all that shit's on you. Yeah, so... Like when my first boy moved out, I lost my fucking lawn mowing guy. Then when my second boy moved out, I lost my fucking pool cleaner, right? I mean, and now that my girls are gone, I lost all my house cleaning and stuff like that.
Well, and that's the thing, is it's tough because it really does take a household to keep a household up, right? It doesn't just take one person, because they're going to grind out and be done eventually. And they're going to be like, look, I'm out of here. Screw all of you. I've been, whatever. They just, the build up. But they're there till then, and you don't realize it because somebody's been taking care of business for you. And then once they're gone, you're like, realize, oh man. And then once you have everything on you, you realize, oh my gosh, okay, this is how much I've been doing, and this is how much somebody else has been doing. You got kids, you got whatever. Everybody's contributing, and everybody starts realizing, oh shit, we got to pick up the pace. We're gonna, keep up a household, because that's what it takes.
Well, that's what it is. Just you're a team. When you got the team mentality, you get a lot more shit done, dude. But okay, so let's flip it on the chick side then, man, because there's a lot of 35, 40-year-old girls out there that aren't women, right?
Right. They're just girls. They're just girls out there looking for somebody to sponsor their paycheck.
Someone to take care of them, or pay the bills, whatever you want to call it.
And that's not like they can't provide something to the relationship, but they can't even take care of themselves. They're just looking for somebody to take care of them. Just like there's men out there like that, there's just as many, if not, there's just as many women out there just the same way, right? That are looking to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing, but in society nowadays, it's like you have to be able to take care of yourself, because you never know the way things change, as fast as they change, where you're going to be. And if you take care of yourself and you could provide that, is one of the most attractive traits somebody could have, is I don't need you.
Independence, yeah.
Independence. I don't need you to survive. I don't need you to take care of my children. But if I could do that on my own, and you could do that on your own, and then we make this connection, and we could both do it on our own, imagine what we could do together.
As partners, yeah, because then you got two independent people that become one to make an equal shot at what's going down.
We are a community. We're not made to be single people out there in the bush by ourselves. Yes, there are people that are like that could do that, but otherwise they don't have family, they don't have children, they don't have whatever. But if you're a family person, you're into that, you need community. Why? Because you enjoy the communication between others and being able to share that, right? I don't need you raising my kids. I just need you to talk to share about the problems I'm having with my kids, maybe. Yeah. Maybe bounce something off of you. You got something to put back. That's what's big about community. That is the human nature.
Well, like myself, we had a wolf pack. We had 8 people, and I've gone from 8 to 1. It's just me. I'm a lone wolf now. But I still want that fucking
community,
that wolf pack. Yeah, and in the process of doing it, like I was telling you, man, I went on a bunch of I've only done like 2 dates, like where we go have something to eat and then maybe have a beer or something like that, right? Because now I think it's a lot easier to go pick up a coffee or go have a drink after work or whatever and meet with somebody for 10 or 15 minutes, and you realize you don't like them, or it's just not cool.
It's not going to work, yeah.
Yeah, so you get out of there buying a $6 coffee instead of fucking blowing $80 on a fucking 2-hour dinner that you didn't want to spend with somebody, right?
Right. You find out, hey, we could be friends, but I'm not going to marry you, so let's just be done.
Yeah. And then that's the hard part, is finding that all these little things that need to come together. Like, oh, maybe she's good looking, that's cool, but she's fucking living with her grandparents or driving her grandma's car, right? Like she's got a Gucci handbag and she got the Coach purse and all that kind of good stuff going on there.
But everything's financed.
But yeah, she doesn't even own her own car. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's borrowing a car from her grandma and stuff like that. And then you meet another chick and she's fucking. Yeah, she lives in an apartment, downtown. It's not a really great place, but she got a fucking 15-year-old car or whatever, but she's fucking independent, doing her own shit.
Doing it all on her own.
Yeah. And that's attractive too, man.
Right, because you realize that somebody already wants to live this life on their own. Now, I can make that better. Why? Because you've already showed enough interest in your own life to make it that good.
Yeah.
And take care of yourself. Now, we get together, think what we could do, right? Because you're doing the same thing. And that's also what I would assume a woman would see with a man. She didn't want somebody living in her parents' house that's driving their car or whatever, you know. And so a woman that looks at that thinks, what am I really getting into? Do I want to be paying this guy's bills for the next couple of years as we date?
I got a buddy that still does that, you know, but his gig is like he's gone 3 weeks out of the month, right? And I completely understand that, dude. You know, you only need really a place to stay like a week out of the month. So I get that deal.
Okay, there's something different for some, but he still has a job. He's still making money. It's not like he can't live on his own. He just doesn't have a reason to yet.
Yeah, but he's, you know, because he's in Las Vegas or he's in fucking Washington or he's down south in L.A., you know, for 3-4 days at a time. And I understand that. So why would you want to pay $2,000 for some place that you're only at like 7 or 8 days a month?
Well, but that's the difference. Is that guy is still a contributing member to society, working and not just mooching off his parents or grandparents. I mean, he's probably even paying them rent. He may even be paying the entire title on the house. You never know. I mean, he could be making more than them. His parent, it could be good for them.
Yeah, and no, I mean, every little situation is different. If you chop it up, but I think the independence part, whether if it's a man or a woman, when you are independent and you see this person that's thriving, that's happy, that has a list of hobbies or something, like, you know, they're into snowboarding or they're into hiking or something like that, right?
Right.
Fishing is another one, something like that. And I might not totally be into snowboarding or whatever, but that's cool. That's something you like to do.
But they're into something.
Yeah.
That means they are working towards something, which means they have motivation. It's people in the world that don't have any motivation. Grind out, go to a shit job, come home, live in a shit apartment, and then raise their kids and get upset at them because they didn't necessarily fulfill whatever dreams they were setting up for them. And it's like, what are you really trying to achieve here? And it's all some people can do. Just saying. I get that. I've been there because I've been grinding, and I remember that. And I was down to the last dollar for I don't know how many years on a paycheck, you know, growing up. But eventually you work towards something and you get an opportunity because you grinded it out and you stuck with it. Then maybe you move up, and then all of a sudden you start banking. The economy comes around. Something happens. Wages end up bumping.
Get a better job.
But don't think it's going to come on you in one day. It takes 10 years for that shit to cycle.
No,
you know?
It does, man. And, you know, I think for myself, I got all the shit I like to do, and I can do it by myself. But if you find somebody that likes to do that shit too, that's a plus, dude.
It is. Because that's something you can bond with. Like
music's a good one, man.
Music.
Like, bro,
sports.
think about this. What's a type of music you don't really like?
Jazz.
Jazz? See, I like jazz. Like, Sade's one of my favorite fucking...
I know, you guys are talking about jazz, but you know what music I do like? Is like symphony.
Symphony, see?
When I drive to Highway 50, guess what always comes in? The symphony.
Oh, yeah.
I could listen to it driving through the mountains, roll up all the windows, or just have the sunroof open if you do.
You know what it is, man? It's like subliminal metal. It's metal music. That's what symphony is, like metal.
It reaches my emotion.
Yeah, it's just on a different spectrum, but it's same as metal, dude. When you hear like, and it's like,
oh, man.
Yeah.
What I try to picture is back in the day when that was really made, like in the 1600s or whatever, when that symphony actually came out by Beethoven or whoever.
Yeah.
And I try to think of because it was really a movie trapped in a song, right?
A story,
It was a story trapped in a song. And what it allows you to do is create your own story by the listening and the highs and lows, where you can create your own story if you want to, just by listening.
No, because like you could listen to the same song as I hear, right? Especially when it's just instrumental, right? The song could be sad to me, but it could be a hype song to you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's what's badass about that shit.
Yeah.
But there's some, like I've said, I don't like today's country. I just don't like it, man. It's more like pop music to me than country.
Correct.
If you got Marshall Tucker Band, You got fucking Hank Williams or Hank Williams Sr., Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Merle Haggard, all the older shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of country I like, or even the old bluegrass stuff. Now, I can listen to some Florida Georgia Line or something, dude,
But there was a lot of soul in that old country music.
Yeah.
In new day country music, it's more hip hop and pop music. It's like,
well, I'll give you one, Chris Stapleton, right?
okay,
That Tennessee Whiskey. That fucking
Oh, yeah.
song, dude, that's an old school song, man. I mean, it just got a lot of fucking heart to it. Yeah. I mean, and that's new, but I don't know. That's a big thing, though, when you're
So I'm like a George Strait kind of guy, you know? I mean,
Oh,
I'm
dude,
like,
he's a classic, dude. Look at his, listen to his voice.
I'm not a country music guy, but I could listen to George Strait, and I grew up in agriculture, listening to country music here and there, and that, and A Tear in My Beer, and all the different songs. It's
Amarillo by Morning.
so have you ever listened to that? Because they play it every morning as the sun comes up as you're running into Texas. So just let me tell you. And when you listen to that song as the sun comes up, when you're driving truck, and there's probably, I don't know how many truck drivers out there, you could drive for 3 more hours after hearing that song.
Yeah.
When you're ready to fall asleep, but that song comes on and the sun's coming up, and you're watching the sun come up, Amarillo by morning.
Yeah. All right, but we're still on, let's see, girls versus chicks, right? So let's do, how about, we're ending this decade, dude. This is the last show of this decade, man. Not just this year, but the decade.
That decade. 2010s.
And, you know, I think, like, we just had a 90s party last night, right? I would really have to sit and think about some things that happened in the 90s, dude, to tell you what year it was or when this happened or what. I just don't have it pop off my head, you know what I mean?
There's so much that has happened, and we've grown so much as adults in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
It's so tough to remember back and put one thing and be like, this was the biggest thing in 2010s.
Well, like, let me give you something here. Let's see. There was a total solar eclipse that occurred, right?
Yes.
Now, I can't tell you if that was in 2011 or if it was 2016. I just remember it was a few years ago. But
a few years ago. I'm sorry, that was the quote I was going to drop.
yeah, because it was a big deal. Everybody's like, oh, the eclipse is coming. And then fucking, I remember I was sitting out at a job with somebody, and this guy came out with this glass, and you could look through it, and I got to see the whole eclipse and shit, dude. I mean, that's pretty cool. But
so I could just tell you, so I work with some welding inspectors, right? So they have the welding goggles, and they could see, like, and thought, oh shit, we could use these to look at the solar eclipse because it's not going to hurt our eyes. Sure enough, I put on welding helmet, I handed goggles to all the other guys, and we're sitting there and we're like, oh yeah, watch the whole fucking thing. The very next day, there was a whole thing that came out. If you thought you welding goggles are going to protect your eyes,
you were wrong.
And I had a headache, and my eyes were all burning.
You kept seeing the sun everywhere you looked.
Yes, and I thought, oh my god, this is just like ag mechanics my sophomore year when they told us not to look at the guy welding, but to look at the guy welding so we could learn how.
Yeah.
But don't look at him unless you had the mask on, because you get flash burn. And sure enough,
it's real. It's fucking real.
It
dude.
was real.
Well, let's think of another one. You know, the first iPad came out.
Oh man, changed the world.
Game changer, dude. Yeah. Fucking people use that thing all the time.
So
all kinds of applications for it, man.
In the thing that I didn't think it would be used for, because you're thinking an iPad, you're thinking, oh, this is for kids, this is for family, around home, all this and that. On my job site right now, I guarantee, or any of the ones I go to, there's a guy with an iPad that has a sheet of plans on there.
Yeah.
We're no longer printing paper. We're using iPads instead of printing paper. The guy pulls up the drawings, boom, 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 blows it up. Here, this is the detail. This is what we're building. Yep. Shows you right there in the field on an iPad of the approved drawings. Because why? They get updated. And not all those updated plans keep getting reintroduced into a job site, right? But an updated digital plan is always still the same.
Then they throw it and it's right there on your phone.
You can get it on your phone if you don't have an iPad.
Yep. I mean, that's awesome. That's a game changer. How about some stupid stuff like planking? Remember planking?
Yes. It was good for the core.
Yeah, it was. I seen some badass pictures. It was cool, but it went on for a minute, and then we had Gundam style.
The dance.
Yeah, that fucking.
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody do that one last night, but
well, that is the
because it's 2002.
That was the beginning of Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah, that was good shit. How about that cup stacking shit, man? Remember the kids were doing that little cup stacking with the cup song and stuff? Yeah,
that was their way of coping with their parents that had gotten drunk and passed out, and the red Solo cups were left.
Yeah, they're all over here, too.
And the internet was shut off, so we're gonna stack some cups and make a game out. It's like Jenga with red Solo
and
cups.
And the bottle flip shit, dude.
Dude, now that is the most annoying shit out there as a parent. Sorry. I'm sure.
And I've seen these videos, and these kids are just super hyped about flipping a bottle over, and I'm
right. And it's like, well, once you get to high school and study physics, and you realize that the bottom corner of that bottle is filled with water, of course it's going to land on it, no matter what.
It depends on how you fill the bottle, dude.
You know why? These kids didn't play with Weeble Wobbles. Weebles wobbles, but they won't fall down.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're all weighted in the fucking bottom.
So they always end like a cat, end up on their feet. How about a big deal? Same-sex marriage happened, right, in the United States?
Yes. That was all for tax advantage for them and those people that enjoy that.
And I think it had to do with medical and stuff like
medical
that.
Insurance, you bet. It was all about benefits. It wasn't about just being married. It's just the fact that they got accepted, and the government rejected that. Even the state of California, all the way up till 2000 and whatever.
Yeah.
Because why? They didn't want to give away those tax credits. They wanted to take that money in. Yep. And if that doesn't read into more, even with the state, let alone the government, about tax money, that was why they held off on it. It wasn't about the morals. It wasn't about two people that just loved each other and dedicated. But I do have a good story about that. I used to work with this lady that was a lesbian. She rode broncs in the LBG whatever rodeo. Like, she was totally into bronc riding. She was one of the dudes when it came to inspectors. She'd be back there. I even bummed a few chews off of her because she was just like one of us. Yeah. And she was great like that. Like, we could say whatever back there. She would dive in and add on to it. And then she ended up getting a divorce. And she had 2 children from this lady. And she's sitting back there and talking about, oh, I can't believe this. She's trying to rake me over the coals and alimony and child support and all this bullshit.
Well, you're a dude.
And she's sitting there bitching, and we're all sitting there, and I'm sitting there. I was just a kid. I was just sitting there going, oh, man, this is wild, right? Watching this woman go through this finally. Like, she wanted this, and now she's got it. All the other men that have been divorced being like, yeah, like trying to help her out, give her advice and different things. And I just remember my dad, who's old timer, and hopefully he doesn't get hate mail over this, but he even told her, he's like, welcome to being a man.
Yeah.
And she actually appreciated it and gave him a hug because she was like, she realized how many other dudes she's worked with that have gone through the shit that she's going through now. And she realized, damn, because at a certain point in time in the 80s and early 90s, it wasn't necessarily equal. Yeah. If a woman wanted to leave a man, she did. She took kids and she got money and was gone. Like, the man had no say.
Yeah.
Now the government is more equal, I would say, because it's supposed to go 50-50 or both ways.
That should be the starting point, unless there's fucking detrimental
abuse,
shit.
Yeah.
Detrimental shit. But it should be half-half like that. It's
right.
Really,
and especially if you have a man that's willing, he's like, I want my kids half the time. Or I want them all the time.
Well, that's what I mean with the kids, because financial shit is a wholly completely different thing than the kids. The kids have no say in it, so you should be able to get your kids half the time, and she should get them half the time.
And they truly do need both sides to be raised. Like, I know that. Like, there's only so many things I give my daughter or son advice that they're going to hear from me.
Well, otherwise, a man can only learn how to be a man from a man. And a woman's got to learn how to be a woman from a woman. I mean, that's just fucking easy pudding right there. But let's see what else we got. Oh, how about them fucking fidget spinners, dude?
Okay, that was annoying number 2 on the list compared to the bottle flop.
I don't think I ever had one, man. I played with the kids ones, but I never had one.
I think I might have spun one once and been like, "Oh, really? This is what you guys are wasting time and money on?" Because they were getting them all like blinged out and
they're like, well, it helps with my autism.
And I'm gonna do 2 of them at once because I'm not
I'm
ambidextrous.
Put one on my nose and fucking whatever. Fidget spinners. Glad it's gone. Then another big deal that went down, dude. How about Osama bin Laden got put down?
Yes. So Mr. Obama era. Luckily, we got rid of Osama.
Yep.
Now, who the fuck knows who's in charge? At least we knew Osama was in charge back then, but he was hiding in caves.
There's always somebody going to sneak up, dude.
And bottom line, he was dying anyways. I mean, he'd taken so much opium, he was on fucking life support anyways because his kidneys were gone and all that from smoking opium, if you didn't know. And he was living in tunnels, and that's why they were just trying to shut him down. They got rid of him, and now there's a new boss in charge, and...
We'll figure it out. He'll go down too. Then how about that fucking missing jet plane? Remember that Malaysian jet?
Yes.
It just fucking disappeared.
It disappeared. Dude. And guess what? There's a black box. There's all sorts of things that are standard for whatever, FAA.
Yeah, FAA, yeah.
So, like, they have information on it, but why did we never ever hear, like, a real story of what happened?
And that just leads to conspiracy shit because it could have been a fucking uncalled out fucking terrorist deal. Or
didn't somebody shoot it down potentially? Like, they thought it was...
a Russian plane shot it down or something, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that could have happened.
That's where it fucking gets into it all, but we lost a lot of good people too, man.
The 2010s were strange. We have more technology at our fingertips, but yet less information.
I mean, you look at these guys, dude, like, count us some name, Bowie, right? David Bowie's gone. Prince is gone. Tom Petty's gone. I mean, right off the top, dude. Chris Cornell. There's a lot of great people, that artists and stuff that have passed away. But this last year, we wrote a few down. Of course, everybody knows that Epstein.
Oh, man, yeah.
It's still an ongoing meme, dude, and some of the best shit I've seen, dude. Like, Epstein didn't kill himself. Oh, my God, dude.
Yeah, I saw one, I think, like 2 days ago, and I was like, oh, my God, we're still on this?
Yeah. Like, this lady caught a fish. She reels the fish in, right? They're fucking taking the hook out, and there's a piece of paper in there, and it pulls it out.
It's a note?
A note inside the fish that she just caught. It says Epstein didn't kill himself.
Right? I mean, and you watch the whole thing just to get to
fish,
that.
Yeah, the fish knew it. The fish knew it, dude. I thought I was just watching some chick catch a nice fish, but that's what it was, dude.
You mean a hot chick catching a fish?
Dude, there's a couple situations when you see a hot chick, like shooting, if she's fishing, golfing for some reason. Golf's another
shooting one. Shooting a gun, shooting a bow and arrow, like masculine stuff. Like, you're like putting a fire out. You're like, man.
Yeah, that's some cool shit. And then we had Luke Perry.
Luke Perry, which is huge.
Dylan.
Yes, and that's, you either known him from the new 90210 or whatever new show that my daughter watched for a while.
Yeah.
And he ended up passing away during the show. And so she actually has gone back and watched like all the old 90210s. And so she like knew, and that was actually affected her more than me. And I was like, man, that's Lane Frost.
Yeah, it was Lane Frost from 8 Seconds, dude.
Right?
Then we got, let's see,
Corey Dog.
Peter Mayhew, which most people won't know Peter Mayhew, but he was Chewbacca, dude, in all the Star Wars movies. Fucking, and you can tell in the new one it's a different Chewbacca in the new Star Wars that came out, because this guy's a little bit more hub. He's not as lanky as Peter Mayhew was. But what's up to him? And then this ain't death, but it's another big thing that happened in the last 10 years, dude, and that was fucking, you had a nobody politician come down a flight of stairs, call out the fucking Mexican border and fucking drug cartels and thieves, and then he became fucking president, dude.
Yes. Mr. Trump.
Mr. Trump, dude, fucking.
So
no matter how you go about it, dude, this guy came from nowhere, dude. I mean,
well, like I asked you earlier, what was our last greatest president? Like, somebody you'd say was great and truly changed America.
Yeah,
was Ronald Reagan.
I would go with that too, man. Although Obama changed America, but it was in a detrimental way.
It was.
He ruined my healthcare.
He ruined a lot of things and divided America.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, a lot of things, and it wasn't just him. It was the way that America was fed. Right? The information, the way stuff is separated.
Well, when he was running the first time, I said, this guy is about change. I like what he's saying. I like this change he's talking about.
And hope.
And hope, man. And he sold me on it, you know? And like I said, I'm pretty much independent. I think I'm about like, I voted for fucking Clinton and I voted for Obama, but once each, you know, you know, but
and it continued anyways.
Their whole part of, and I think that's the biggest thing, not just Trump being president, but getting the Supreme Court stacked. And it looks like Ruth Bader Ginsburg's going to be going out pretty soon. So he's going to get another one in there. I mean, stacking the Supreme Court, that's going to change America for the next 20, 25 years.
The Supreme Court, absolutely. Like, that is something that's going to live on past your presidency.
Yeah.
Right? Because those people don't leave until they die or retire.
Yep.
And they stay in that government job milking or just making rules and laws for America. They're playing God, basically, for America. I mean, they really are. So he coming in, though, I think was a lot of people. I voted for Trump.
Yeah.
And why? Because he didn't fit the posture of all the other people that have ripped me off for the last fucking 30 years.
Well, like the cookie cutter politician, and you see them on both sides, Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. But the cookie cutter politician isn't going to make headway now. People are tired of hearing, "Oh, I want a chicken in every pot," you know, fucking
right.
Old
And
school
nobody
shit.
gives a shit. Nobody's changing abortion laws. Nobody's changing these laws that people were talking about. Nobody's changing that bullshit. You can't just go on record and say, "Oh, I'm pro-child and I'm pro this and I'm pro that." Nobody's changing that fucking bullshit anyways.
No.
What it really matters is what we're doing now. We're all making money. We're all working.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is like like Weller gets on me too about it. Like he hasn't seen any change. The taxes haven't hit him in this. And I said it really has. It has, man. If you take your fucking bottom line for 2017, what you made and what you paid in taxes, then you take it for 2018, what you made and what you paid in taxes, you're gonna see you paid less in taxes. And the quickest way people are gonna find out how much they got back is when they take those tax breaks away. And your check starts to shrink again.
Right. And you don't know till then. And it's already too late because he's already in office.
Well, here's a big problem, man. And I try to talk to my kids about this. Like, let's just use $20. You make $20 an hour, right? So you make $800 a week. And at the end of 2 weeks, you got $1,600. And it doesn't work that way.
No, you got $1,000.
Yeah, because they take out all the taxes and shit, right?
Deductions, everything, yeah.
But if it was old school and they straight paid you fucking $800 cash at the end of every week, right? And then at the end of the year, you're responsible for all this taxes that you owe the government now, right? People would think of shit differently because all they get right now, they don't get a check every Friday. We used to get paid every Friday, dude.
They don't want you to think about that tax. They just want it to go away every month because that's okay. Because if I took it to at the end, you'd realize how much I'm really robbing from you.
Yeah. Well, here's what happens. They don't get a check. It just goes in their direct deposit. So it's just a bunch of numbers that show up every other Friday. You get this amount of numbers on your fucking banking statement, right? But I used to love getting paid every Friday, dude. Because then fucking you have money all the time.
For the weekend.
You didn't have 2 weeks to wait to get to the next check, right? And I just think if we went back to that and went back to them straight paying you cash, your hourly wage or whatever, cash, fucking at the end of the week every Friday, dude, America would jump it would jump again, dude.
Well, back on the tax deduction thing and how Trump lowered taxes, I think 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago, May.
So I will just tell you, I work for a large corporation. They gave every single employee, we have almost 4,000 employees, it was $2 million. They gave everybody the same bonus. Didn't matter if you're CEO or the lowest guy in the lab. Everybody got a $500 bonus.
Yeah.
Because
badass.
That was the tax credit they got back. They're like, we saved almost 10 million or 5 million, whatever it was that was stupid, in money due to this Trump tax credit. And we didn't think we needed to just eat it all and sit on it. We gave it back to every employee. So everybody got the same bonus. CEO didn't get 1,000 and everybody else got 500. Nothing. Everybody got the same exact bonus.
And that's the way any place should work, dude.
To me, at that point in time, I thought, I'm working at the right corporate place, because what other corporation you know would actually hand money back to people?
Well, there was a few that did it, and they fucking galvanized it. It was on the ticker tape on every channel, fucking.
And guess what? I'll work for them forever, knowing that, guess what? They are really dividing money amongst us. Like, we're not just here to build a pile of gold for a king. We're here to make money for all of us, right? And once they did that, and I realized, I was like, that changed my demeanor, because I used to think, corporate, they're just going to take it all, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to get paid my same wage, all that kind of good shit.
I'm on the other side of that. You know, I work for a corporation too, dude. Let them do their thing, but...
How was your bonus?
We're over. I've never got a bonus at work, dude. Not one time.
I'm sorry.
It happens, man.
They feel good.
But hey, man, good show. We knocked it out pretty quick, pretty easy, dude.
I don't even get to tell my snowboard story?
Oh, shit. Let's tell a snowboarding story, man.
Okay. So, 1995, it was December 24th.
Christmas
or 3rd. December 20, yeah. So I ended up going snowboarding with my buddies, 2 of them, Duncan and Steven. We go up to Heavenly. We're up there boarding, having a good time. Last one of the day, and we would be like, hey, straight down the mountain, right?
Pull it, Mike, yeah.
Straight down the mountain. So we go straight down the mountain, fast we can. Duncan's in front, I'm in second, my buddy Steven, and we're all just straight down from the top of Heavenly all the way down to 200 feet or whatever it is. As we're barreling down, it was icy because it didn't snow in the late end of the year. And so I hit this patch of ice. And yes, it's down Gun Barrel, where Sonny Bono also lost his life.
Oh, shit, yeah.
But I hit the tree first, just for the record. Because there's these trees, as this makes a bend, well, there's a patch of ice. And as soon as I carved, it just slid out, overcorrected. I went like this, and I went right off the side of the fucking mountain, right? And luckily, I wasn't even touching the ground. I'm looking at this redwood tree that's probably about 4 feet wide.
Oh, fuck.
Coming right at me. And that was the last thing I remember. Because as it hit me, it fucking knocked me out, sent me into a windmill down in this gorge. So I'm sitting down in this gorge, and I'm like waking up, but I'm not awake yet. Like, I'm still knocked out. First time I've ever been knocked out. And here my friend Steven, who's saying, good thing you're not dead, because if you were, they wouldn't even be able to get you out of here, bitching at everybody, because there's like 3 girls trying to pull me out of this ditch with this other dude on a sled. And I'm like, just coming to. And they already had me on a backboard, strapped in. And the guy's asking me, and I remember he's looking in my eyes when I finally came to, and I could see him. And he's like, he's coming to, he's coming to, he's coming to. And I'm looking at him, and I'm trying to push my head back, but there's a backboard there. And he's like, okay, so who's president? And I'm like, George Bush. And he's like, I seen the look on his face, because Clinton had been in office for like a year and a half. Yeah. And this dude's like, look, he's like, okay, I just do this on the weekends, but this just got real. And after I was like, no, wait. And he's like, let's move on. He's like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm fucking snowboarding. And he's like, where? And I'm like, in the snow. Like, all my answers were general, because I really didn't know the real answer. And so as he keeps asking me questions, I finally came out, I'm like, Bill Clinton. And the look on his face and satisfaction, he's like, okay, this guy isn't a vegetable, finally. Yeah.
His brain's working.
His brain is working, and everything was answering. Apparently, they'd been asking me questions for like 5 minutes before that, where I nailed every fucking question, is what my friend Steven told me. But I still wasn't even, like, come to yet. Yeah. But I was just answering questions. And so they ended up pulling me up, get me out of there. They buckled me in this freaking sled, and I had to ride down, and the whole time the snow just hit me in the face. And luckily the one lady was like, here, we're going to put your goggles on at least. So riding down the sled, and we get down there, and they check me out with their fucking doctors that are just there part-time or whatever. They're like, you can do whatever you want. I'm like, well, I'm fucking going to go to a doctor in Sacramento. I'm not going to Tahoe. I was like, I'll make it home. And they're like, okay, sign here. Shh. So as I start walking to the car, my buddies were already waiting for me because they knew everything. And so Duncan and Steve were waiting to the car. I start making the car, dude, my ribs. I had broke ribs, and I had punctured my spleen, so I had internal bleeding, which put even more pressure on the ribs. And they were broken in the back, not in the front. So it's like, it's hurting to just walk or do anything. I made it about halfway through the parking lot. I'm like, bring the fucking car to me. And they're like, we called your mom. She said to go to the hospital right now. And at that point, I just said, okay. So they take me to the hospital. I lay in the bed for like 2 hours. I'm laying there on a gurney because there's like 10,000 dipshits with ski wrecks that are in the fucking hospital.
You're one of them, dude.
Yeah, I'm one of them. So we go in there, and of course, in the 90s, you're wearing stovepipe. You're like all loose fitting. Finally, after 2 hours, they're like, we're going to CAT scan you because you were knocked out for like so many minutes. And I'm like, I can give a fuck about my head. My back's on fire for like the last 3-4 hours I've been laying here, you know? And they're like, well, we're not going to give you anything until then. They start prepping me with charcoal, water, whatever it is, so that it's iodine in so they can CAT scan you. So I had to drink this thing. They CAT scan me, and they make you hold your breath when you CAT scan, laying on your back with broken ribs. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. So finally I'm done. I get out of there. And it's a cute nurse that's helping me out. And I'm trying to be nice because they're just there putting up with bullshit, right? So finally I get out, and she's like, okay, we're going to give you some for the pain. You can drop your drawers. So I'm going to give you a shot in your ass kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, great. I unbuckle, snowboard pants, nice and baggy, boxers, to the ground. I'm just sitting there bare ass. She's like, you didn't have to drop it like that. And she thinks I'm getting creepy with her. Yeah. And really, I'm like, you're a fucking professional. I give a shit about sex right now. Yeah. And she's like, on the count of 3, and she stabs me on fucking 2. So I knew how this was going. I'm like, she's really like hating on me. So when she was done, she's like, okay, you can pull up your drawers. And I'm like, could you help me with my pants?
To top it up.
And that's what she's like, this motherfucker. She thought I was a creep. She reached down, and she had her head down like waist high. And I'm sitting there just like, please. And she just hands me my pants finally, and I pull them back up. After that, I had an Aunt Jemima for my nurse. Yeah. And she was the nicest lady. And they kept coming in and asking me if I wanted more morphine. I'm like, no, because I didn't sleep the entire night. I was high as I ever was my entire life. Right? Stuck in a hospital bed with whoever's grandfather snoring next to me. I can't even watch TV, and I just laid in bed the whole time. She, honey, are you okay? You want some more morphine? I'm like, no.
Dude, when you get that shit, it like starts at the top of your head, right? And it just fucking goes like all the way down your fucking whole body. Like you could feel it just.
So when she shot me in the ass, dude, I felt it spread like this.
Yeah, like fucking.
And it felt like an alien. It was this hot vibe. And all of a sudden it was just numb behind it.
All the way, dude.
And I felt it work through my entire body. And at that point I was like, oh my gosh.
Head to toe, dude.
So yeah, that was. My parents came and picked me up. My dad did on Christmas Eve. Picked me up. Take me home, and I didn't eat anything. Hospital food was shitty, of course. Barton Memorial Hospital, Lake Tahoe, my first collections bill. And it was $200 some. I thought I had health insurance. It should cover everything. Yeah. No. So my dad picks me up and like, take me to Taco Bell. I got 2 chili cheese burritos, which they don't sell now. Yeah. And I had heartburn and hiccups the whole way. With broken ribs. Fuck. And my dad just laughed at me the whole way home going, you stupid fucker.
Wow, this is a good story, man.
There you go.
You got it off your chest, bro. All right, well, we'll see you next year, huh?
Happy New Year.
2020. Appreciate all you guys showing up and having a good time last night.
Thanks for letting me do the show again.
No, I appreciate you showing up, brother.
2 Pete.